Wagwan, I'm Kavel Bromfield, Youth Ambassador for ID Pioneers. And guess what? ID Pioneers will be having its first fundraising event for 2022. Yes, you've seen the work that we do with youth stayed homes. So here is your opportunity to help us to help them. So on June 4th at 8 p.m., DHM Productions Limited, in association with ID Pioneers, will be hosting a benefit performance through the live play God's Way 2, produced by the lovely Dahlia Harris. Yes, that's right. So on June 4th, 2022 at 8 p.m., Little Theatre, Kingston. Get your tickets for only $2,000 at Fontana Pharmacy, Waterloo, and Ballers Liberty Park, Devon Road. So here what I want you to do. I want you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, and tell your mother, your father, sister, brother, or everybody that you're in contact with. Tell them that you're gonna support ID Pioneers on June 4th, 2022, so we can continue to do the work that God has placed in our hearts.
God's Way 2. It stars Stephen Ray Johnson in the lead role of Carlton, Ainsley White returns as the deacon, Sherry Elise as Kyla, and of course, I return as Valerie. I know you love God's Way. God's Way 2, just as compelling, just as powerful. Come for the laughs, come for the drama. You are going to be locked to the stage every single minute. I promise you that. You know DMH Productions not failure, right? So please support the benefit organizations that are partnering with me on this show. And if you're just buying tickets, book early because we're only doing 5 shows and seats are limited. So come purchase early. Look forward to seeing you.
And we do have someone that's currently in the program. Yakira, good morning. So I want to now ask you, what has the program been like so far for you? That's currently in the program.
Good morning. Can you please repeat the question? I didn't hear you.
What is the ID Pioneers program for you like right now?
Okay, it is very awesome. It teaches many things. And one thing that it changed me, that in my life, it wasn't easy. I don't have it easy because I thought I wasn't good enough for anything. And when I tell you anything, I mean anything.
So far for you.
When I came here at Newville. Can you please repeat the question? I didn't hear you.
What is the ID Pioneers program for you like right now?
Okay, it is very awesome. It teaches many things. And one thing that it changed me, that in my life, it wasn't easy. I don't have it easy because I thought I wasn't good enough for anything. And when I tell you anything, I mean anything. When I came here at New Vision, I was 16 years of age. And my home manager, Miss Juliet, she tried so hard with us, and the dorm mothers, they tried very hard with us. And then she introduced Miss Lizzie and her team to come and interview us and have sessions with us. And one of the sessions that I really loved was the very first one. We were defining what is ID Pioneers. And Miss Kim and everyone was there, and they were telling you that ID Pioneers mean identifying who you are. It doesn't mean by name, your hair, your skin color, whatever. It's the core. It's what you are meant for. What are your purpose? What is the reason why you are here? Why is the reason you're at certain places? And when she explained that to us, I realized that it changed me because I am here for a purpose. I am here for something. I wasn't here for nothing at all. And that changed me. And another one was the mindset. It was all negative for me because, as I stated before, I think I wasn't good enough. I wasn't bold enough like how I'm bold right now. And Miss Kim, she go through little sessions and little games, and one was that she crushed paper and throw it at us and give us a towel and tell us how would we use that towel to defend ourselves in any situation? And the outcome was that she was trying to express that no matter what negative thoughts or what negative mindset we have, we can get up and we can fight and we can do it all over again, because I am at now where I think I wouldn't have been. I am at CMU doing third year. And that is so, I'm at CVM right now, and I'm sharing my experience. I'm sharing my experience, and it is so wonderful. It is so awesome. I am so happy. And I am thinking to become a mentor also.
After you have completed.
Yes. There are children around me right now who are going through some similar challenges as me. So
you want to pay it forward as well.
Hi, good night, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back for those who are visiting again. For persons who are visiting for the first time, welcome. So I'm just going to say this little poem. Welcome back. School has begun. Time for learning, time for fun. Smile brightly. We are on our way. School has started just today. Welcome to Life's Classroom. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. Our viewers and our ID Pioneers family, thank you very much for joining us. And welcome to the second session in our 2022 Purpose Live series. I want to know where you guys are tuning in from. If you're tuning in from Jamaica, I would love to hear which parish you're tuning in from. You can use some adjectives to describe. For example, I'm tuning in from Cool Cool Parish of Manchester, or the Bread Basket of Jamaica, St. Elizabeth. I see some things coming in. I think we have Kimberly from Canada. How is it there? Should be cold right now. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. So yes, guys, it is a pleasure to be here tonight. For those who have not had dinner as yet, I hope you will have a full course meal tonight. Well, yes, tonight. Whatever should be discussed or will be discussed tonight will fill your belly. You don't have to worry about dinner, because I'm here and I'm not going to get to have dinner. I think we also have Clement Graham and Mailer Newell from St. Elizabeth, Angie Clark from Peach State, Atlanta. Hi guys, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you for joining the ID Pioneers family on this leg of our journey. I mean, it has been quite a ride, but it has been amazing, to be honest. I want to specifically and specially welcome all our trendsetters tonight. Once you're here, you're a trendsetter and you were purposefully made. So I'm really happy again to have you guys here tonight. So our trendsetters tuning in from YouTube, welcome. Just to give a little background information about ID Pioneers, because I keep reciting the name, and I'm sure persons who are joining in for the first time, they want to know, who are we? What do we do? So we are a movement of purpose-driven individuals who are pioneering pathways to purpose for youths across Jamaica, all across Jamaica. Our vision is basically to see every youth in Jamaica and beyond living victoriously in a purpose and powerfully influencing their world. And of course, we do a host of things from identity and purpose workshops and camps, career and life purpose coaching, youth worker training conferences, purpose-driven parents workshops. So if you're here tonight joining as a parent, please make sure that at the end of the presentation, you get the information that you need to be a part of the purpose-driven parenting workshop. Very important. And if you're here as a child, you can encourage your parents to be a part of our purpose-driven parenting workshops. We also offer scholarships and grants. Guys, it gets no better than ID Pioneers, trust me. All right, so you're probably wondering, where do we do all of this? Well, ID Pioneers team influences youths that are in state homes, schools, churches, juvenile correctional centers, facilities, social agencies, street leaders, just to identify a few of places that we've been working and persons that we've been working with. So on the topic of all that we do, I want to let you guys know that this is all voluntarily. This is all done voluntarily. It is done without a cost. There's nothing that the members of ID Pioneers, there's no pay for what they do. Just give of themselves in service. So on the topic of giving, I want you guys to know that I have a giveaway for the person who was here first tonight. Now, before you can get that prize, you must be following ID Pioneers. This is very, very important. So for you to win tonight's prize, you must be a follower of ID Pioneer. So if you're not following us, take this little opportunity to just hit that follow button and follow us. And the early bird prize for tonight, bing, 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 bing. I'm just giving you guys a chance, to go over and follow while I let you know who the early bird winner is. All right, and the prize for tonight is Get Your Fight Back. Now, I wish I could be on the other side where because I'm pretty sure that I would be the winner of this prize tonight. So, as I said, Get Your Fight Back. This book is for strategies to win the battles of life. And we know since 2019, we have been battling. I mean, there are other battles that we may face, but we know the struggles right now. So I want to highlight our early bird winner tonight, who is Capricorn Queen. She is the first, I'm assuming it's a female, I hope I'm right. He or she is the first person to join us tonight, and she's also following ID Pioneers. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining, and thanks, Capricorn Queen, for being early tonight. All right, guys, so we are here tonight at this Purpose Live session, but it's not the only Purpose Live session. We have a Purpose Live series coming up in July. I think it's June. I will get back to you with the correct date, I'm sorry. But let us focus on tonight and the theme for 2022. So the theme for 2022 Purpose Life series is Chosen Generation. And remember, as I said earlier, if you're here, you are chosen. It's not by chance. Believe me, it's not by chance why you're here tonight, and it's not by chance why I'm here tonight. So thank you very much for joining in and following your purpose and being a trendsetter and being one of the chosen persons. We want to support youths of this generation to understand that they are chosen and are called as trend setters. So start associating yourself with these words: trendsetters, chosen ones. We are trendsetters, and that's what we do as we go through life. We set trends. So as I said before, we want to support youth of this generation to understand that they are chosen and called as trendsetters to manifest the excellence of God as an example for upcoming generations. And I'm just going to quote something by Sarah, very popular artist. She said, "Life is so precious. I want to maximize life." And I believe for you to maximize life and to live to your true potential, you have to be able to identify who you are, identify your purpose, and live within that. So I just want to share that with you before I move over. I know everyone is here for the gorgeous Catherine Goodall and all the substance that she's going to bring tonight. So let me give you a little bit more about our topic tonight and where it's coming from. So Life's Classroom with our guest tonight, Catherine Goodall. The objective is to basically, the presenter will share with you tips on how to prepare for Life's Classroom. As you transition from school or college, we want to support you to understand how knowing your purpose and knowing your purpose and identity can help you successfully navigate through life's ups and downs. And as I said before, life is precious and we want to maximize life. So now I'm going to introduce to you a female powerhouse with a heart of gold. I mean, when I read that about her, I smiled because it just matches who she is as a person, honestly. Her winning smile and the girl next door features will charm and disarm you. She has a loving and patient disposition and a gentle attitude towards others, but her meek persona must never be taken for weakness. She is a female leader who holds her strength and power under control. Born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica, where the stark realities between privileged and hardship are always present, her heart grew big for the disadvantaged. With her heart for people, she journeyed to the prestigious Broward University in the early 2000s to study the arts. By 2007, she earned her bachelor's degree in sociology and anthropology from Florida International University, and is now, the reason why she can be here, she's now a certified John Maxwell coach and speaker. She blends her knowledge to inspire and develop people and grow businesses. On the job, she is a leader who demonstrates power without undue harshness. Very important. She addresses her staff as boss. She addresses her staff as boss, a term of endearment she uses affectionately towards her team, smartly disarming with her charm by reversing power roles. This leader, with her entrepreneurial spirit, thrives in an environment that allows freedom to innovate and take risks. A lasting legacy for generations. Catherine received the Governor General Achievement Award for Leadership and Nation Building. Her work at Food for the Poor delivered housing to displaced individuals and schools and health centers in struggling communities across the island. Belief in the cause of UN Women for equal rights and opportunities for women led to her lobby for over 300 signatories for their Win-Win program. She is part of the Emerge Trio as co-founder, Unlocking Leadership and Personal Potential. Co-founder of Define Business Services Limited, a business consultancy helping others to create processes, strategy, structure, and resources to succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please join me in welcoming our beautiful powerhouse tonight.
Hi, Karian. Thank you for that introduction.
You're welcome.
I had to pause and wonder if it was still me that you were talking about for a minute. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for spending your Thursday evening with us. It's definitely an honor to be asked by ID Pioneers to speak to you and speak into your lives tonight. It's definitely a platform that I have a great deal of respect for. The work that they're doing. So I'm grateful and I'm blessed to be here, and I pray that you guys will get something from what I have to share tonight. So I am going to share my screen. All right. Okay, so tonight I'm going to be talking about knowing your identity and how it can help you to successfully navigate life's ups and downs. Now, just so that you're aware, I am no expert on life. I'm speaking to you from my personal experiences. I'm speaking to you from things that I have learned and things that I wish I knew when I was younger. You know, the first lesson for me is that I wish that I appreciated when I was younger that the Bible is really a guide to life. And it's where I pull a lot of my wisdom from, because I realized much later in life that everything that happens in this life, somebody else has already experienced it and it's already documented in the Bible. And so now I pull on it for everything. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. I want you to think about, these 4 questions I want to ask you. Who are you? Who are you now? What are the things that you would words that you would use to describe yourself? Who would you like to be? Who is that person that you'd like to become? And after you answer those questions, I want you to answer for yourself, why? Why do you want to become that person? And once you get the why, I want you to think about what you're willing to do to become the person that you say you want to be. All right? So the 4 things that we're going to cover tonight is 1, knowing who you are, and most importantly, whose you are. The second thing is knowing your value. The third thing will be to surround yourself with the right people. And the 4th thing would be to operate in excellence. So what does that mean? All right, first thing. So again, I like to pull from the Bible, right? And the first thing I want to think about is outside of who you are and who you think you are, who knows you better than the person that created you? Think about it. When you think about anything, and my pastor says it all the time, he has a sermon that he preaches about our DNA, and he says, when you think about any item that you purchase, right? Whether it's your phone, the person that makes it knows the most about it, right? Because they're the ones that created it. So who better to tell you who you are and who they intended for you to be than your creator? And in Genesis 1, 26 to 27, God tells us, we don't have to guess. He tells us that we are created in his image. He tells us that we were created to rule and to have dominion over every single thing. So if we are created in God's image, what does that mean? When you think about words that describe God, what are some of those words? I think of awesome. I think of provider. I think of protector. I think of great. I think of leader. There's just so many words that we can pull on to describe the awesomeness of God. And if he says that we are created in his image and his likeness, then why can't we use those exact same words to describe ourselves? When he talks to us about giving us the ability to rule and to have dominion, we know that with dominion comes responsibility, right? Because it means now that we have to care for the things around us. We have to care for our earth. We have to care for each other. So when we think about who we want to become, is it aligned with who God created us to be? Is it aligned with us being like him? Is it aligned with us being leaders? Is it aligned with us being caregivers? Is it aligned with us having dominion, ownership, claiming the things that belong to us? I want you to think about that, right? So this is who God created us to be. And I'm going to read it so that you all can let it sink in. Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures and all moving things that are on the ground. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them. So when you start to think about who you are and who you want to become, think about, is it aligned with who God created you to be? And this is important because everything that we are comes from this, right? What we believe, and the Bible tells us, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if we don't believe that we were created in the image of God and we are created to have dominion and we are created to rule, then those are the times that timidity will come into play. We start to shy away from things. We don't step into the spaces that we know we belong in because we forget the power that we possess. And so in order to remind us of that power, remind yourselves every day of who you were created to be, who God said you were created to be. So I have two verses that come to mind when I think about knowing your value. And I think this one is extremely important. So we talk about self-love, right? And I think it also stems from, again, who God created us to be. Where does love come from? God created love, right? And love is an action. So the Bible tells us that love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in truth. It protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, and always perseveres. So I have a question. When we think about love and what the Bible says about love, we think about it as how we treat other people, right? So I want to challenge you tonight to think about love in this context from the perspective of how you feel about yourself. How much do you love yourself? Are you patient with yourself? Are you kind to yourself? When you sit down on social media and you're watching everybody else and what they have, and you're envying them for those things, are you spending the time to be grateful for what you have and the gifts that you possess? And when we talk about pride, and that love is not proud, love is not self-seeking, it does not dishonor others, it doesn't mean that you can't have pride in yourself. It means that you must not let your pride overcome you, right? Because if you allow your pride to overcome you, then in turn, you'll be able now to dishonor others. What love is, the substance of what love is in its purest form, first starts with ourselves, right? Because God tells us that we love him and we love each other as we love ourselves. But if we don't know how to love ourselves, we can't love anybody else. So when we talk about our identity and who we are, I want you to think about, do you really love yourself? When you make a mistake, are you patient with yourself? Are you kind in the correction of yourself? These are the things that we need to think about. When you talk about it not being easily angered and keeping no record of wrongs, are we beating up ourselves all the time? Or are we using the experiences that we have to learn from them? When we talk about love always protecting and being able to trust and to have hope, all of those things are a reflection of the choices that we make. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we're not going to be able to make the right choices and to trust ourselves and our own actions if we don't know who we are and know our value. And so the other verse that comes to mind when I think about knowing our value is this: do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you into pieces. What does that mean? It means that we need to think about the situations that we're in, the people that we surround ourselves with, the places that we are, and the circumstances that we find ourselves in. We talk about casting pearl before swine, right? It means a pig doesn't know the value of a pearl. You know what the pig will probably do with the pearl? Eat it. Do you know the value of a pearl? How much a pearl costs? And how valuable it is, the process that it takes to even make it, that alone in itself gives it value, right? And so when you think about knowing your value, you have to think about the situations that you find yourself in. Is this a situation that I belong in? The people I surround myself with, are these the people that are worthy of my time and my energy? The circumstances that I find myself in, does this show that I value myself? So when we're at school and we're wasting time and we're not studying, is this showing that I value my time and that I value myself? When we're idling and doing things that are unproductive, is it showing that I value myself and that I know my value? When I speak in a derogatory way to others, does it show that I value myself? No, it actually shows that you don't love yourself. Because again, we're to treat people the way that we love ourselves. Love people the way that we love ourselves. So in knowing our value and the value of who we are, it's a reflection of our actions. Everything that we do is a reflection of how we see ourselves, right? Iron sharpens iron. Who are we surrounding ourselves with? Are we surrounding ourselves with people that have our best interests at heart? Knowing who you are means that you have the ability to discern who you have around you and if it's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? When you think about the people in your life, you think about the people that are always taking from you, or are they people that you have a mutually beneficial relationship with, that you know are going to speak truth into your life, that are going to hold you accountable when you're not making the right decisions? Or are there people around you that are just people that you're having a good time with, that you're going to parties with and you're having fun with, that are not helping to add value to your life or edify your life in any way? That shows that you don't know the value of you. You don't know the value of your time and you don't know the value of your resources. So a big part of knowing who you are is knowing who to surround yourself with. Are you adding the same amount of value to others that you're extracting from them? Because it's a two-way street, right? It's not just about what you get from the relationships that you're in. It's also what you're giving to those relationships. Are you sharpening each other? Are the people in your life either helping to make you stronger and smarter and wiser and make better decisions and are holding you accountable for the things that you need to be held accountable for? Are you learning and growing together? Or is it people that, 10 years from now, they're going to be moving in a completely different direction from you? I remember when I was in college, I went to school for my first year. I did well my first year. My third semester, I did no schoolwork. I hope my parents are not watching this, although they know the outcome, right? I did no schoolwork. And I spent time idling, going out all the time. And guess what? You know where my friends were? The ones that were still out there idling with me. Some of them now have 2 master's degrees. Others of them ended up leaving school and doing some other things with their life. But at the end of the day, the point is that we all had choices to make. And there are consequences to all of our choices, right? So some of my friends were focused on their schoolwork, even though they were idling with me. But at no point were they trying to draw me up and tell me, you need to do your schoolwork. So the question is, were they really my friend? Or maybe some of them never knew any better at that time, but the outcome was the same. Did I value my time enough to know that it was precious and that I didn't want to have to do this all over again? Nope. Can I say that the time was wasted? Maybe not, because I learned, but I had to learn the hard way. So be mindful of who you surround yourself with, right? Are you sharpening them, and are they sharpening you? Now, this is a big one, and I've heard this word used all throughout tonight. Karen said it earlier when we were testing. I heard this word over and over: excellence and operating in excellence. So when we think about God and who he is and how he is and every single thing that he has done, all of the things that he has created, he's a God of excellence. And if we are going to be a reflection of him, and we were created in his image, we were created to be excellent, right? So the verse that came to my mind when I thought about operating excellence was, if we're serving the Lord, if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day who you will serve, whether the gods your ancestors served before the Euphrates, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you're living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Now, what does that mean? It's not about the God, false gods, but what is your false God? Right? What are the things in your life that are causing distractions, that are not allowing you to operate at the level of excellence that you need to? And I mean simple things like being late, that is not operating in excellence. Telling stories that you think are not lies, that is not operating in excellence. Wasting time on social media when you could be focused on doing something else, that is not operating in excellence. If you're doing a job and on your job, you are on social media or sitting down chatting with your coworkers or doing email or on Facebook, that is not operating in excellence. What are the things that you're choosing over the things that should be a priority to you? Our choices are a reflection of how we see ourselves and what we value. And I think it's very important for us to understand that concept. Every single thing that we do in life is a choice. From what time we wake up in the morning, what our morning routine looks like, all of those things are a choice. I know when I wake up in the morning, I need to center myself. Normally I exercise at 4 o'clock. That has kind of been deterred for a little bit. And I have my morning devotion because it helps to center me. For me, I write a list of the things that I have to do in the day, throughout the day, because it keeps me focused. And so I prioritize. What are you prioritizing in your life? And what are the things that you need to release? What are the things that you need to let go of? Now, when we talk about operating in excellence, I mean every single thing that we do should be at a level of excellence. The way that we treat others, the way that we speak to others, the type of work that we produce. You never know who is watching you. You never know who is paying attention, right? And I will tell you that so many opportunities have opened for me because I choose to operate in excellence. I remember moving back to Jamaica after living in the States for about 12 years. I got a call from Pepsi and they offered me a job. I hadn't lived in Jamaica for 12 years, right? So the fact that Pepsi in Jamaica is calling to offer me a job, that in itself, I believe was ordained by God. I went to Pepsi. I was there it should have been a 3-month contract. I was there for 5 months. At the end of the 5 months, they offered me a permanent position, but I didn't take it. I went to work somewhere else. And then I got a phone call a couple months later to say that there was a new position that was opening and the head of the company wanted me to come and do it. Now, first of all, before I left Pepsi the first time, I got 5 job offers. I didn't apply for 1 job. I went back to Pepsi. I worked at Pepsi for 4 years. I left Pepsi. I didn't tell anybody. And within the space of a week, I got 9 job offers, all executive level. Why? Because people are paying attention. So people offered me jobs that I didn't even know. But apparently, 2 things. 1, my work spoke for itself. And 2, I live good with people. And so I was recommended by other people. Right? So operating in excellence is something that we always, always have to strive to do, because you don't know who's paying attention. When ID pioneers called me and asked me to come and speak to you, I was like, why? But it's because they were paying attention to something that I'm doing, right? And they trusted me enough to come and speak into your life. Always operate in excellence, because you don't know who's paying attention. You don't know what opportunities are going to open for you. And of course, it comes with a sense of pride. Again, if I'm a reflection of my daddy and he is excellent, then I strive to be excellent in all things. Some of the things I want you to think about when you're making choices. I want you to think about, what is your why? What is the motivation behind the choice? So whether it is which school you want to go to, which job you're going to accept, think about why you're going to accept that job. Imagine I had 9 job offers to choose from. There must have been a reason that differentiated that I chose one job over all the other 8. What was my motivation? What's the reason behind it? When you think about the people that you have in your circle, why do you have them there? What's the purpose for having them there? When you think about the choices that you have to make in your life, whether it is to step out into a new role, into a new community, think about what's the worst that can happen. But then I want you to think about what is the best that can happen. A lot of the time we spend so much time being fearful and developing anxiety over things that don't even happen yet, because that's what fear is, Fear is the anticipation of something that's going to happen. It's not real. And God does not give us a spirit of fear, right? And the truth of the matter is, we need to embrace the fact that failure does not define us. There's a concept that John Maxwell always talks about, which is failing forward. And what does that mean? It simply means learning from your mistakes. There is no failure that goes, that's not worth it. There are so many mistakes I've made in my life and so many things that I have not done well, but none of them have been a failure because I have learned from all of them. And so when we think about the first thing automatically for some of us is to think about what's the worst that can happen. But I challenge you to think about what is the best that can happen. If I step out, like coming to speak to you tonight, I was so nervous. And so I had to talk myself into showing up, and I had to talk myself into the fact that me being here, even if it is to reach one person, is where God wanted me. And the impact that I will have on even that one person is worth it. There's so many lessons that I've learned in my life. I told you that I failed out of school in my 3rd semester. And I went to work for a year. And after that year, I ended up having to pay for school and work. And so I had to learn the hard way that I should have paid attention when my parents were paying for me to go to school the first time. Because now I don't have that luxury anymore, right? There's so many lessons that I've learned in my life, and I am so grateful for each of them. Why? Because it makes me a better person. The only time that you can consider yourself a failure or have failed, because you're not a failure, is when you don't learn, right? Operating in excellence, always give of your best. Again, you don't know who's paying attention. So many opportunities have opened for me just because people pay attention to the things that I do. And I always have to be mindful that I am a reflection of God. I'm a reflection of my parents. I don't want to disappoint them. I am a reflection of the companies that I've had to work with, right? And listen, you see, especially because I put myself out there and people know that I love God more than anything in this world, I better be a reflection of Him. And everything that I do working with me should be a good experience. Encountering me for the first time, even if you're a stranger, should be a good experience. because so many blessings have come into my life just because I live good with people, right? So many doors have opened. I'll tell you a story. I remember when I decided I was going to stay in Jamaica, and this is just one story about how good God is, right? I went to a new job, and now I had just moved back to Jamaica. I was living at my aunt's house, and I had to find somewhere to live. I get a phone call from somebody at work, at church, to say they heard I'm looking for somewhere. Can they introduce me to their friend's mom? And I was like, okay. This time I'm saying to myself, I don't have any money, no big money to pay for no rent to live anywhere, because I just moved back to Jamaica. I just started working and I'm trying to figure things out. But because I'm trying to be polite, I said, all right, let me go ahead. So this lady calls me and says, oh, she has the perfect place for me. And I'm like, lady, you don't even know me. You have not even asked me what I'm looking for. You don't ask me what my budget is, but you have the perfect place for me. So no problem. I'm going to meet her. She told me the place costs $1,200 US a month. I don't even, anyway. So I go to meet her at the foot of the hill, and I'm sitting waiting on her for 20 minutes. Now, I am usually on time, right? Because I think that people's time is valuable. So this culture that we have in Jamaica of being late and everything in our own time, that is not a spirit of excellence. Being early is being on time. Being on time is being late, right? So I'm waiting on this lady, and of course I'm getting annoyed now because I'm waiting on her after she set the time. Anyway, we're driving up, she finally gets there, and we're driving up this hill. And I'm like, I'm not living up here in this bush. Where is this lady carrying me? Come out of the car, and she says to the man that owns the building, good afternoon, and she calls his name. And when I look up on the balcony, I kid you not, the man that was my father's best man at his wedding was standing on the balcony. Now imagine my shock, because one, I didn't even know that he owned an apartment building, right? Well, the short version of the story is that I got that apartment for less than half of what he was asking for, purely because of the favor that I received from one, of how I live with people, right? Because even though he's my father's friend, if I didn't have a good relationship with him and his family, I don't know that I would have been able to receive that favor, right? Two, being open to the opportunity. People at church who I just started at that church, by the way, so I didn't really know anybody there. The fact that they thought to reach out to me because they heard, by the way, that I was looking for somewhere. Again, who are you surrounding yourself with? Right? How are you living with people? How are you interacting with people? Are you leaving yourself open to the opportunity to be blessed? It's very important. So when we think about knowing our identity and owning who we are, these are some of the things that we have to think about, right? Who does God say that we are? And if you don't remember, look it up. I would tell you to write it down and study it so that you know it. I was created in the image of God. I was created to rule and have dominion over every single thing on this earth. But with that dominion comes responsibility. Am I worthy of that responsibility? Do I know my value? Am I surrounding myself with the right people? Am I making the right choices? Are the choices that I'm making showing that I know my value? I know what I'm worth. I know that I'm the child of a king. And I live my life as such. Am I operating in excellence? Are my actions a reflection of him? Are my actions a reflection of who he created me to be? And if the answer is no, guess what? The beauty about it is that we can change that right now. We can change that today simply by making the right choices. And if you need help, reach out to the people that you know that can help you. ID Pioneers has an entire team of mentors that can help you to chart that course into becoming who you want to be. A big part of knowing your purpose is becoming the person that God wants you to be. People think that we wake up one morning and we know what God created us to do, when the first thing that he wants us to focus on is who he wants us to be. So don't get caught up in the what God wants you to do if you are not who he wants you to be first, right? Are you the leader that he wants you to be? Are you an example of him to everybody else in this world? Are we operating in excellence and showing that his kingdom is a kingdom of excellence? And again, if the answer is you're not so sure, or you know there's room for improvement, which there's room for improvement for all of us, reach out to ID Pioneers. You guys can message me. I'm on all my social media platforms at Kathy Goodall. So you can reach out to me if there's anything that you want to talk about. I know that we're going to have question and answer after this, or guidance. But ID Pioneers has an entire platform of mentors that are there to help you to becoming the people that God created you to be. So I hope that my 4 points were useful for you and that you got something from it. And I'm going to hand back over to Karen. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
I know that at the end of your presentation, my day would be full. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for that beautiful presentation. It was well received by myself, and I'm pretty sure that persons who are participating in the chat, participating in the live, or who are just simply listening, I'm pretty sure that you have said something that resonated with them. So thank you very much. Guys, please remember to follow Kathy. Her social media handle is Kathy Goodall. Kathy.Goodall, and that's CATHY.GOODHALL.
No H.
Oh, no H? Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Listen, the eyes. Right. So, yes, guys, once you put that in, you'll find her without the H, minus the H. You have mentioned something that I really need to speak on. You mentioned the inability to step into your purpose because you have not identified who you are. Like, I know I can relate to that. I mean, knowing who you are, knowing why you're here, and it's just, that's how you're going to know your purpose, and that's how you're going to be able to actually step into it and do the things that you are really destined to be. Because I'm an example. We don't have the time tonight to really share my story, but thank you for mentioning that. It's really important. Knowing your value, knowing be selective about the persons that you associate yourself with. Very, very, very crucial, very important. Persons may think, I have this view that everybody, regardless of who they are, it's important to interact. However, what is important is the kind of people that you keep close to you. As you mentioned, can you feed them? Are you feeding into them? Are they feeding into you? Can they help to move you forward? So thank you very much for sharing on those. Let me see if we have any questions for you. All right, so we do have a few questions. One question: how does knowing your identity help you to bounce back from failure?
Oh, listen, again, I think it's important to understand that failure is inevitable. We're all going to fail at some point. There's always going to be things that we're not good at. But the important part is learning from that failure. What are the lessons that I can get from this experience to, one, make sure it doesn't happen again, and two, to make me better? I can give you an example. Actually, I can give you many examples. I remember one day I was in a relationship that I knew I had no business in. I knew that it wasn't somebody that God would have wanted me to be with. And please bear in mind that I was a church girl for like my whole life. My mother made sure that I went to Sunday school. I grew up in the Catholic church. So I was communion, confirmation, everything. And then as I got older, I started to go to a non-denominational, more charismatic church. So I always had a relationship with God. Now, the difference is that even though I went to church every Sunday, even if I did go on one dance Saturday, I was at church Sunday morning, right? Because at the end of the day, I didn't really understand the value of what a relationship with him was. I thought that, and I guess I took for granted, kind of like how we take for granted that our parents always love us and them always gonna be there for us and them are gonna love us regardless of what we do. Yeah. And he knew that there was just things that I just wasn't ready for give up. I didn't appreciate that the things that he wanted me to do were for my best interest. It was to prevent me from making those mistakes that I kept making over and over and over. So the bad company, I kept making over and over. But when I started to realize that those decisions were wrong, I changed it. So it's okay for us to make a mistake, but we have to do something differently the next time. So if it means that now I need to be mindful of who the people are that I allow to speak into my life. Now I need to be mindful of the time that I spend with these people. Now I need to be mindful of how my time is being spent, right? So now my actions are different. I got to a point where I was at church almost every day because I wanted to be at church, not because there was any other reason other than I wanted to be, because spending time with like-minded people, spending time with people that poured into me, spending time doing things that were more productive was a better choice. So the important thing to learn is that failure is inevitable, but what we do after we fail matters. And it really means making a choice to move in a different direction.
Okay, perfect. Failure is not final.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so another question here. How do you maintain the balance of loving yourself without becoming idolatry? Sorry.
Oh, that is easy, It's called, so I have a concept that I call confident humility, right? So if you think about, again, the context of love as the way that God created it and how he wants us to love ourselves, you see that it says that love is not prideful, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to remember that you are now submitting to the one that created you. You cannot be humble if you think about how awesome God is, because there's nothing in this world that we can do to compare to who he is and what he does, right? But it's about confident humility. So you can love yourself and have pride in the things that you do and the things that you accomplish, but it doesn't mean that you think that you're more than somebody else. So that is what is important, not thinking that you're better than others, right? Because at the end of the day, he calls us to love everybody the way that we love ourselves. You can't love somebody else and be prideful.
Okay, perfect. So I have a question. Well, it's not necessarily a question. I want you to leave something with persons who are here tonight. They may not grow up in a Christian home. They may not be exposed to any form of religion. Of course, maybe they would hear it or learn about it in school, but they don't have that relationship with God. So I want you to leave something with that person tonight, for them, to help them to reach to that point, help them to find that direction to the Creator, and because of course they will need that guidance to help them to identify who they are and follow their purpose. So I just wanted to leave something for that person tonight.
Absolutely. So again, I want to reiterate that I literally grew up in church, and that didn't matter because I didn't understand the value of a relationship. What I would say to anybody that wants to feel and know a love that has no limits, know a love that only has your best interest at heart, I would tell you to be open to. Again, the Bible is a book that I didn't place any value on. I used to be like, who wants to read them all English words that nobody cares about? But when I realized that every single experience that I've had in this life, somebody else that has had before me, and it's all documented in the Bible. Even if you're not religious, I would tell you to start to read the Bible because it is really a guide to life. And I would tell you that to have a relationship with God is not about religion or church. It's about experiencing the greatest love affair that you will ever be able to. You can't even fathom it. It's about, again, experiencing an unconditional love, a love that embraces you exactly the way that you are, in a real way, that I don't think you will ever be able to experience outside of getting to know him. It's really just about a relationship. It's not about rituals or religion. It's just about having simple conversations, expressing what's on your heart and allowing him to speak back to you.
Okay. All right, thank you. I hope that message was received by that person tonight. Okay, Kathy, thank you very much again. I'm going to remember your 4 points. Know who you are and whose you are. Know your value. Surround yourself with the right people and operate in excellence. You have touched heads, hearts, hands, and I'm pretty sure you have left someone with hope tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, so now we're going to move on to some more giveaways. But before we move to the giveaways, I have an announcement. Now, I'm part of an organization that at this point they would be singing a song. Well, I was a part of an organization. At this point, they would be singing a song. Announcement. Well, this is not really the place for it, but I have an announcement, and it's about our ID Pioneer fundraiser. It's a benefit performance in partnership with DMH Productions. If you joined earlier, you would have seen it on the screen being advertised. It is the theme is God's Way 2, Carlton's Redemption, and it is written and directed by the great Delia Harris. It is this Saturday, June 4th at 8 p.m. at the Little Theatre. Proceeds will fund the mentorship programs in children's homes. So all the mentorship programs that ID Pioneers facilitate. This, if you support, some of the proceeds will go towards the mentorship programs in the school. The tickets are only $2,000. So sacrifice some pizza, some partying, something. Sacrifice something to support a worthy cause. For tickets, you can call ID Pioneers at 876-335-3263, and that's 876-335-3263. Now I'm all in my Santa Claus mode again. I'm ready to give away some stuff. Well, I would want to give away some stuff, but I only have one thing to give away. And for this giveaway, again, remember, you must be following ID Pioneers for you to be qualified. So, if you're not, before you answer the question, just hit follow, and then you automatically qualify yourself. And the question is, what is the name of Delia Harris's play? And what is the date and time for ID Pioneers fundraiser? All right, so I'm going to repeat it one more time. What is the name of Delia Harris's play? And what is the date and time for ID Pioneers fundraiser? At the end of this, we will be announcing the winner. So you can take your time to refresh your memory and place the right answer in the chat. The prize I'm going to announce the prize at the end. And now, just to wrap up, What an awesome night it has been. I know it has been awesome for me. As I said, my belly is full and I hope it's the same for everybody else. Yeah, I just want to reiterate some of the main things that the presenter said, just so it resonates, it sits with you. Remember, know who you are and whose you are. Know your value. Very, very important. Know your value. Surround yourself with the right people and operate in excellence. If you don't remember anything that happened today, give thanks for life and also remember these 4 things. I want to also take this opportunity to apologize for our other guest who should have been, or other presenter who should have been here tonight. Unfortunately, reasons beyond his control, he's not well, so he's not here. We do understand how illnesses are. We have no control over it. So even if the mind is there and the body can't, then we just have to understand. But we're happy that his heart was willing and his mind, but he's not able to be here tonight. So we send him our best wishes, and hopefully he'll be able to present to us on a different topic at another time, or maybe the same topic. Right, and again, I just want to remind you of Catherine's social media handle, and it's Cathy, CATHY.GOODALL, and that's for all her social media handles. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I hope you will join all of our Purpose Live series and episodes. The next Purpose Live episode is scheduled for July 13, 2022, and that will be our 5th anniversary. Please do not miss it. Come out and support, join us, invite a friend and tell a friend to tell another friend, and bring someone and come and support. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and visit our website at www.idpioneers.org. So earlier, I was asked, how do I sign up for this? How do I participate? So to volunteer, you have to be 16 years and over for you to be a part of the ID Pioneers. So that is one thing to note, and you can reach out to us at 876-339-6797 for more information. If you want to donate, you can go to admin support at idpioneers.org. Now I am going to announce the winner for our second giveaway. And the winner is the winner for the second giveaway is Nico S. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That's Nico S. He has won himself a prize of a book, Truth 101, Let the Animals Teach You to Survive. And it's written by Esther Sinclair. And the answer for the question was God's Way to Carlton's Redemption, and it will be June 4th at 8 p.m. So congratulations, Nico S. and the Capricorn Queen, who has won themselves 2 prizes tonight. Congratulations, guys. And thank you very much for joining us on our second Purpose Live series. Have a good night.